Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
How did you meet Miss Garcia?
She's actually my cousin.
Okay. You're Asian. You're Latina, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that through...
Through marriage.
Oh, through marriage. Okay.
Yeah. We're outlaws, not in-laws.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. First-time homeowner Andrew Waters claims he was put into a financial and legal bind after he purchased a property from the defendant. Mr. Waters is suing Michelle Kim in the amount of $10,000. Ms. Kim claims she was very upfront with the plaintiff, and she feels he should have done his own research on the property.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties be sworn, Your Honor.
Third, get up at the times. Mr. Waters, let's talk about this case with you purchasing this home, and got a little surprise there, right?
Yes, Your Honor. So what happened was I moved out here to California from Pittsburgh about 4 years ago.
All right.
And I was really eager to find a place to live and not pay rental fees the whole time I'm out here.
Be a homeowner in California.
Pay a mortgage.
Tell me about this property.
So I went and saw the property. I didn't actually see the interior of the property. I took an external walking tour, and everything looked great. It was a duplex, a two-unit, so I was hoping to live in the front unit and then rent the back unit out as a rental income property.
Let's have a conversation with Ms. Kim.
Yes.
You were the broker representing...
The seller.
The seller.
Yes.
And tell me about this particular property.
Well, it was a fabulous buy. It happened to be in foreclosure.
Oh, it was foreclosure.
Yes, and two-unit. It was a duplex.
Yes.
With a detached garage in the back.
All right.
And it was, the current owner had a temporary rental situation going on, I imagine because of the foreclosure.
A temporary rental situation with the second of the two duplexes?
No,
I mean, there was a duplex. One was for the primary person.
Yes, the primary person.
And then there was a rental.
Correct.
And we talked, the issue was the detached garage.
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the issue with the garage?
Well, I don't perceive it to be an issue, but at the time, the current owner at that time was renting it out on a temporary basis.
The previous owner had two tenants. One in the detached garage, one in the other portion of the
One that
duplex.
lived in the main house, and then the detached garage was more like temporary, kind of like Airbnb.
And when you were showing the property, was it apparent that the detached garage was in fact a place where you would have someone residing?
Like a guest house. You know?
It looked like a guest house.
It looked like a guest house.
And you didn't think anything of that?
Well, no, actually, when I met with Mrs. Kim, she informed me that the current owners were renting out that unit on a short-term basis.
You were looking at potentially having someone in the other portion of the duplex as well as the detached garage.
That was not my initial intention. However, when the broker told me that that's what the other owners were doing, and when I realized there was income potential in that opportunity,
you were like, cha-ching!
I figured, why not? Yeah, especially coming from Pittsburgh, where the market is a little bit different, real estate laws are different. If you want to house a family member, if you want to rent something out, I mean, you pretty much just do it.
Right.
There's not as much oversight as there is with the California
You make an agreement,
system.
you make an offer, his offer was accepted.
Yes.
What happened after that, Ms. Kim?
The property closed. He wanted to close as soon as possible. I had 5 or 6 interested parties as well.
Okay.
And we made every effort to expedite it for him because, you know, his story appealed to me, how he just came out here, he wanted to be a homeowner. And so with all those people that were pushing to buy the property, he seemed like a great candidate. His agent brought me an offer, and we took it from there.
And then who made the decision to get the home inspection? Well, I mean, what was that? Because sometimes the buyer says, I will cover the cost, or the seller will cover the cost. It was decided here that
Well, I always advise anybody that I speak to that's involved in a real estate transaction to get an inspection.
Right.
It's in our contract.
Okay.
Actually, a buyer's inspection
And then the
advisory.
question of who pays for the inspection, in this particular instance, the buyer, you, Mr. Waters, were to pay for that home inspection.
That is correct.
And the purpose, for those who may not know, is to make sure that there's no secrets or there's full disclosure. You know exactly what you're buying and there's no surprises, correct?
That's correct.
Ms. Garcia, I want to bring you in. How many home inspections have you actually done?
About 600.
And that's over the course of how long? How long have you been doing this job?
For the last 5 years.
5 years, okay. You've been busy. And how did you come to choose Ms. Garcia as your inspector?
She was recommended to me by Mrs. Kim.
All right. And then well, this is what I need to know. When you suggested Ms. Garcia, did you indicate a list of individuals or just her?
Just her.
Just her. All right. And did you put it in writing or did you just tell him?
No, I just told him.
You told him.
It's
All right.
typical in our business. We do that.
Okay. How did you meet Ms. Garcia?
She's actually my cousin.
Okay. You're Asian. You're Latina, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that through?
Through marriage.
Oh, through marriage. Okay.
Yeah. We're outlaws. We're outlaws, not in-laws.
Coming up on America's Court.
I told him how the current owner was using it. I did not suggest to him that that is what he should do.
And later.
But then I started to feel my throat constrict, and I know what that means. That means I'm having an allergic reaction.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of first-time homeowner Andrew Waters, who is suing Michelle Kim for $10,000.
Mr. Waters, I'm looking, and there's several documents that I know we have to deal with, but none of which is the inspection report or any sort of contract that you made with Ms. Garcia.
Your Honor, I have it.
You have it?
Yes.
Let me take a look at that, Deputy Thomas. Yes, please. Okay. The front page discusses that you have a limited liability clause.
Yes.
What was the cost of your report?
$625.
All right. Mr. Waters, when you made the purchase of the property, you were pleased, and then something happened.
That's correct.
Proceed, sir.
So I'd owned the property for about 18 months,
Yes.
and things were going great. I had rental income coming in from the duplex, and I also had my resident in the temporary dwelling that I thought was approved.
The person that you had in the other portion of the duplex, were they there the entire time, even when you moved in?
Yes, that's correct.
And what about the person that was in the detached garage?
He was there the whole time.
Those people didn't leave?
No, they didn't leave.
Okay, and so you're getting money from both of them?
Yes, that's correct.
And then that's when it becomes an issue because someone came to your house?
Yeah, the Los Angeles Housing Commission came to my home, just doing every 3 years they do a checkup apparently. They come and check rental income to make sure that the landlords aren't acting as slumlords and they're not taking advantage of, the less wealthy populations. Mm-hmm. So he knocked on my door and I was happy to show him the rental properties. I said, I have a tenant living in the middle duplex property right now. He's home, so I can't show you that property. Mm-hmm. And I have a tenant living in the back temporary dwelling. He is not home, so I can't actually show you that property. And the gentleman, the inspector from the commission, the LA Housing Commission said, that's fine, I'll just come back some other time, no big deal. Mm-hmm. And then about 3 weeks later, I get some
you get
paperwork,
this notice.
The abatement notice, correct.
That Ms. Garcia knew that this detached garage really wasn't inhabitable.
Absolutely.
What do you say about that?
Well, I told him you cannot use this for a permanently rent. This is for it's kind of if you have your relatives visiting you, they can sleep there, but they cannot live permanently.
And Ms. Kim, when he bought the property, the two people never left.
I told him how the current owner was using it. I did not suggest to him that that is what he should do. Now, if he derived that from what he heard me say and concluded that he wanted to collect money from the back unit, that was not on my advice.
Fair enough. Well, but Ms. Garcia, is there anywhere in your, and I'll let you take a look at this, is there anywhere in your report that says that detached garage is not up to code.
No.
Because telling him about the stove and the shower is one thing, but telling him this is not code approved, that would be something that an inspector would do, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
But
Here's the issue. You signed a contract from her saying that if she's wrong for whatever reason, the most you get is what?
$625.
Why did you sign that?
It was a matter of expediency. I knew that this particular property was going to move fast, and the LA needed to
Because
have
you
a
were getting
separate-
monies from the person in the detached garage.
That's correct, yes.
And the housing authority said you can't collect that money because they're living in a substandard place.
Yes, that's correct.
And because the tenant has been there for this period of time, you have to pay that tenant $10,000
That is correct.
to move and get situated somewhere else.
In theory, Mrs. Kim has to pay.
No, this is like a desperate attempt
okay,
on his
I
part
get
to
it.
get the
I
money
get
from
it.
me.
And you're saying, why should I have to pay
Ridiculous.
this tenant $10,000? Your other tenant is fine. It's the one in the detached garage.
The one that I'm going to have to relocate, yes.
All right. The question is, Miss Kim, why shouldn't you be liable for the monies that he is now out of pocket?
Well, first of all, I was not his agent. My fiduciary duty lied with the seller. He had an agent. That agent should have advised him to go and research permits, square footage, zoning, whatever he needed to do to satisfy his legal right to do whatever he wanted with the property.
Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the plaintiff. We have a contract as to Ms. Garcia. You knowingly, willingly, understandably said, I will accept that this is limiting my abilities to recover loss. Ms. Garcia, you will pay him $625 for your error with respect to your inspection. The issue really becomes one of you, Ms. Kim.
Me?
Because, yes, you. Because if you are a broker
Yes.
and you say to someone, here's a list of names of people that you may want to consider. I'm not saying go with them. I'm providing it for you. I'm making full acknowledgement of I don't have anything involved here. I'm disclaiming that I have a vested interest. I'm merely providing a service.
I didn't force
The
him
issue,
to use
you're
her.
not talking. We're not having a dialogue. We're having a monologue.
Okay.
The remainder of that $10,000, which is essentially $9,375, you will get that as it pertains to Ms. Kim.
What?
Now, what you want to do between you and Ms. Garcia, that's on you.
Wait.
That is the order.
May
Case
I
closed.
say something?
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $10,000.
I'm extremely happy with the judge's ruling. Hopefully this will prevent these two from taking advantage of any future home buyers.
I'm in total shock. It's the buyer's responsibility to do their own due diligence when they buy a property.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
The costume is hilarious. It's hilarious. And
When it's not trying to kill you.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Benjamin McNulty thought he was going to have a normal workday until he got a horrible allergic reaction from a costume given to him by the defendant. Mr. McNulty is suing Valerie Patine in the amount of $800. Ms. Patine claims she's not responsible for the plaintiff's allergic reaction because Mr. McNulty was supposed to inform her of his allergies.
Mr. McNulty, you have this case involving having some sort of reaction to a costume that you had to wear.
Yes, sir. It was an adverse allergic reaction to natural latex.
What made you decide, I'm going to do this? Because obviously you were getting compensated for it, right?
Well, I really was doing it to help out her family's business.
Okay.
on
Is
the
that a
urgent
yes? You were being compensated to wear a costume and twirl a sign.
Correct.
Yes. Okay. Now let me go to Ms. Patine. Whose idea was it to come up with putting someone in a costume and twirl a sign?
It was my
It was your
idea.
idea. And you came to him and said, are you interested in doing this? I'll pay you X amount of dollars.
I did. I was actually at his dad's house,
She was over nosing around in our business.
What I need to know is there was a conversation between the two of you regarding compensation to put on a costume and twirl a sign.
Yes.
And if you had issues with it, did you communicate to her, I don't know if I want to do this? This is not
directly.
my thing? Okay. If you didn't want to do it, you didn't have to do it. Did you need the money?
I did need the money, however...
Okay, well then that's why you agreed to do it.
Coming up on America's Court.
The costume is hilarious. It's hilarious. And
when it's not trying to kill you.
Closed captioning provided by... This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Benjamin McNulty, who is suing Valerie Patine for $800.
the costume is hilarious. It's hilarious. And
when it's not trying to kill you.
how is it that the costume was trying to kill you?
Well, you see, the inside of the costume was lined with natural latex, which I am allergic to, which she is aware of.
I didn't know that you thought this was a bad idea. He actually volunteered.
Well, you would have known by now because he's suing you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely know by now. I'm really disappointed about that.
Okay. Did you tell her, just so you know, I'm allergic to natural latex?
No, but she had previous knowledge of my
You
allergy.
said she knew. How would she know if you hadn't told her?
As I said before, she owns a home and garden store. They sell gloves. I'm in there to buy gloves. Actually, as a matter of fact, my wife, Crystal, was in there just last month in March to buy gloves for the house, and she specifically bought silicone so that I could use them too.
Benjamin, my store...
Ma'am, I got this.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
You put on this watermelon costume, and what happened?
I've started to feel my throat constrict, and I know what that means. That means I'm having an allergic reaction.
All right, you had a reaction. You've given me a pay stub and an invoice for the hospital because you suffered from having contact with the latex on your neck and face area.
Yes, sir.
You had a deductible, but you still had out-of-pocket expenses.
Yes.
Why are you showing me the pay stub? Because I take it you're saying you missed work?
Yes, for 4 days.
And she's supposed to pay you?
Yes.
I got it. So based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the defendant. There must be something wrong with you if you think that because this woman bought you a costume and you didn't specify the types of fibers or the materials that you were allergic to, that she would somehow be able to read your mind. You know, you must live somewhere where the buses don't run.
I just feel, though, I'm a manager.
We're not having a conversation right now. Your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
I'm really sorry about what happened to Benjamin, but how was I to know that he was allergic to natural latex?
When looking for a new job, I need to be more upfront about the severity of my allergy to natural latex.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
She never, even afterwards, even a week after I've texted her, sorry, what happened? I don't know what happened. Why aren't you
Well, why
talking
did you have
to
to
me?
feel like you were sorry?
Because she stormed off.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Kylie Forrester claims she was bashed online. She's suing Zach Cooper in the amount of $10,000. Mr. Cooper claims the plaintiff led him on, and he didn't post anything about her online that wasn't true.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Prove your case.
So my friend Hannah introduced me to the dating app Meet Cute, where Zach and I met.
Okay.
She met her boyfriend there, and
Yes.
they have had a great relationship. It's worked out. I just got out of a really serious relationship
How
for
long have
about
you been in?
3 years.
3 years.
Yes,
Someone that you thought potentially could be the one?
correct.
Did you break up with him or vice versa?
I caught him with someone else.
Not so good.
Right.
Okay.
So my friend Hannah encouraged me to get this app, and I did.
And you were already on Meet Cute.
Yes, Your Honor. I've
And
been
were
on.
you meeting Cute?
Yes, I was.
All right.
A lot, honestly.
A lot?
A lot, yeah. At that time, though, I had decided that I wanted to start meeting someone that I actually liked. So when I met when we both liked each other's profiles.
Tell me how it works.
So how it works is you only have the first name, and you just swipe through them.
All right.
And if you
imagine you see the person's face.
yes, it's just a picture of their face,
Or
and
who
if
they
you,
purport to be in terms of that face.
exactly, and
Right.
if you both cute like them, then it shows each other's social media profiles and everything else like that.
We started chatting, and we got along well. And I jokingly, you can send food through this app. Like I jokingly
Why?
said, I don't know. You can send sushi, you can send pizza, you can send anything you really want to a girl to
Your
try
Honor,
to
she means
impress the girl.
receive. I can send, she can receive it.
Well, I think I can send as well, but
Well, you didn't.
I didn't. You should be the gentleman. And it was only once he sent me a pizza.
Was that a thing now?
Well, we were messaging, and she said, "Oh, I'm getting hungry," and I was like, "You want to go out?" And she said, "No, but I'd love a pizza." So I sent her a pizza.
I was babysitting that night.
That's kind of sweet.
That was
I'm hungry. Here's a pizza for you.
right.
And you hadn't even met him yet.
We were chatting, so it had been.
You hadn't met
yeah,
him in the. You were
person.
chatting virtually,
In
but not in
person,
real
right.
life. How often did you do that?
I only did it twice. Once with a pizza, then we went on a date, and then I sent her sushi.
Was it a virtual date?
No, we
went
went
on
to a coffee date.
Okay, you guys were in person.
Yeah.
Old school. Okay, I get
Right.
it.
So after chatting with him, and he sent me a pizza and all this stuff, I felt comfortable enough to go meet him in person.
Yes.
And so we did, and it went well.
Okay.
So then the following week, he sent me sushi. We kept chatting, and so on the third date was after we went on
I
the
only
second
remember
date.
one date. There was a date with
Right.
coffee.
On the second date, we
Yes.
went out to a restaurant, and we went out to a movie after that.
Okay.
And
Which I paid for.
And you paid for it.
Yes, he did.
Hold on. You don't get a star and a happy face for that. You said after meeting all these other women, you were looking for something else. Because I bet you the other women, you didn't have to chase them.
No.
It was easy, right?
And honestly, that's what I liked about her.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Right. I've been. I grew up
Especially
in a
after being
very-
hurt, because you're like, okay, I
Right.
know what it's like.
And I don't expect to just, be like these other girls that are so easy. Like you said, it has to work. So we went on a second date, and it was good, restaurant and a movie. And after that, he invited me on a third date. So since we've already met each other twice, I felt comfortable enough to go on a third date at his apartment.
You get over there, what happens?
I get to his apartment, and he opens a door, and it's the lights are dim, so that was kind of odd. We
Really?
go straight. Yes, we go.
You're a little naive, aren't you?
I
You
mean,
go over to a
obviously,
man's
since
house and the lights are dim.
I thought we were
What,
going
you
to watch
thought he didn't
TV.
pay his electric bill or something?
No, I understand that.
How many other relationships other than the one from 3 years had you been in?
That was the first one.
Okay, I get it.
He seemed like a decent guy, and all of a sudden, try to, get in my pants on the third date seemed, I don't know, irrational. I'm not even your girlfriend yet.
She never, even afterwards, even a week after I've texted her, sorry, what happened? I don't know what happened. Why aren't you
Well, why did
talking
you have
to
to
me?
feel like you were sorry?
Because she stormed off.
Coming up on America's Court.
We started making out, and then I
And he
started making
unbuttoning
moves.
my pants and trying to unbutton my bra, and I freaked
That's
out
what
because I
people
didn't know
do.
what. You don't do that on the third date.
And later,
Why didn't it work out?
Just life.
Mr. Byers, why didn't it work out?
Well, it's more than just life. She
Well, she cheated.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Kylie Forrester, who is suing Zach Cooper for defamation of character.
She stormed off because what?
Because we started making out, and then I started making
unbuttoning
moves.
my pants and trying to unbutton my bra, and I freaked
That's
out
what
because I
people
didn't
do.
know what. You don't do that on the third date. Not according to my standards. Like, not according. Girls shouldn't be like that.
I'm agreeing with her. I really am. But then she all of a sudden, spins the script on me and, what are you doing, and leaves. And then I'm like, I don't know what just happened. I try to contact her, can't talk to her. She won't call me back. She won't respond to anything I say. So
And you didn't like that?
No, Your Honor.
And then what did you do?
I posted some mean things on social media about her.
That affected my job. I work at a law firm. I'm a receptionist. And since he had access to my Meet Cute profile, he has access to my Facebook and other things, and he put really mean, nasty comments that are not true. I took a screenshot.
Yes.
I'll take everything you got.
This is my copy. Here you go.
Okay, it's your copy.
Yeah.
Okay. She's got her own copy.
She got her own copy.
I'm prepared.
Oh, that's
She's
a nice
prepared.
picture of
We
you.
like that.
Kylie is a tease. Don't date this girl. She refuses to give it up. Now she's ghosted me. What a B. She prostituted herself by accepting my gifts, but she won't put out. Wow. I got sick after I kissed her. I have mono.
That is true, Your Honor.
I can get tested.
She's
I'm willing
schizophrenic
to.
and avoid her like the plague. I paid for everything and now you just ditch me like this. You're bipolar. Now she's crazy.
I really liked her, honestly, and I was really hurt. And I posted it, and I regretted it, and I'm not proud of what I did. However, and this is a big however, I don't think that I ruined her life or something like that. People post stuff like that all the time online. I didn't think it would lead to court, to be honest.
You called her crazy, and you insinuated that she had some sort of sexually transmitted disease. That's a problem. Why did you lose your job?
Because it said that I prostituted myself, and the law firm felt like it was a liability towards their reputation.
Why did you use the word she prostituted herself?
I didn't know she got fired from her job until just now. I used the word prostituted because a lot of girls do that on these sites.
We're not talking about other girls, we're talking about her.
But all I have is my experiences, and my experiences are...
Your experiences with her was that she said, slow your roll. And you took that to mean, now I'm going to call you a prostitute online. Classy. $10,000 is for what?
I don't have a job right now. For the defamation of character that, he put all these things, and my friends and my family saw everything, questioning my and what kind of person I was, and all of a sudden it ruined me.
Now that you know she lost her job, do you think you bear some sort of responsibility for that?
Yes.
What does that look like in terms of a dollar amount?
I don't know how much she makes. I don't.
How would you feel if she did that to you? What would that dollar amount look like? $1?
No, Your Honor.
100?
No.
1,000? More? What's fascinating about this case is that this is happening everywhere. And especially as a woman, you have to be very careful.
I learned my lesson.
Not that this doesn't also happen to men, but my concern is when women allow themselves to be that subject to someone knowing their address, being able to reach their circles, you are putting yourself in a very dangerous situation. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Everything happens for a reason. And it may have been because you were still hurting and licking your wounds over the previous relationship that maybe you moved too quick. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel is going to come down in favor of the plaintiff. Because you did defame her. It was malicious. It was intentional. It was extreme. It was outrageous. You act like a 4-year-old. $10,000 is the maximum out here in California. You're going for the maximum. You didn't show me any pay stubs or anything in terms of how much money you were earning, so I have no way of ascertaining if that $10,000 amount is commensurate with what you would otherwise be entitled to. But I feel your pain, and I think Mr. Cooper needs to see this as a teachable moment. I'm going to award you $4,000. That is the order. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $4,000.
I hope that women realize that online dating can be dangerous, and men need to learn to respect women.
I'm sincerely sorry that Kylie lost her job. I'll never do anything like this again.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Why didn't it work out?
You know, just life.
Something tells me there's more to the story. Mr. Byers, why didn't it work out?
Well, it was more than just life. You know, she cheated.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Pilates instructor Jessica Pierce claims she's owed money because her former client stopped paying for classes. She's suing for $1,125. Defendant Melissa Moore says her ex-boyfriend was paying for classes and the plaintiff should be suing him.
Ms. Pierce, let's talk about this lawsuit, $1,125 over an unpaid bill.
Yes. I own a Pilates studio.
Yes. And from what I understand, Deputy Thomas, you do Pilates.
Twice a week, yes.
Twice a week. I have never done Pilates, but you also do yoga at this Pilates/yoga center,
We
right?
don't currently. I only have about 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
So I currently only host individual sessions for Pilates and group.
And how long have you had the business?
2 years.
All right. And how is it that you met Miss Moore?
I met Miss Moore through my landlord, Richard.
Yes.
My building, I pay him for my studio, rent every month, and she's friends or dating, you know, I think they were dating, so I met her through him. She stopped by the studio to check out my classes and started joining the one-on-one classes to
And
begin
Ms.
with.
Moore, you started going and doing the Pilates. You enjoyed the services that Ms. Pierce offered you.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who was paying for these sessions?
Richie was paying for the sessions.
All right. So this is,
Yeah.
everyone's referring to, this is Mr. Byers here.
Yes.
Sir, step forward. Now, I noticed that he's on the plaintiff's side.
Right.
Talk about that. What's going on between you and Mr. Byers?
Coming up on America's Court.
Why didn't it work out?
Just life.
Mr. Byers, why didn't it work out?
Well, it was more than just life. You know, she cheated.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Jessica Pierce, who is suing Melissa Moore for $1,125.
Well, I started taking Pilates classes a year ago.
Yes.
We were currently dating at the time, and he owns the building where the Pilates studio
How
is.
convenient.
Right. So,
How long had you been covering those costs?
About a year.
All right.
Well, he had asked me to go to them and said he would organize it. And then I went down and met with her, and then I started doing individual classes with her.
Is that true, Mr. Byers?
Yes.
Who arranged the payment plan? Was it between you and Ms. Pierce? Or Ms. Pierce, were you dealing directly with Ms. Moore?
So Ms. Moore was taking the classes, and
Yes.
around the first week, he stopped by my studio
Okay.
and said that he would cover the, I sell the one-on-one classes, about 10 sessions at a time, and he would cover those sessions.
How
So
much
it
were the
started
10
like
sessions?
that. The 10 individual sessions were $1,460.
$1,460?
I didn't even know how much one class was. I didn't have anything
You
to
just
do with
came
the
in and
class.
said, I'm doing Pilates, and Mr. Byers, he's going to hook me up.
Well, he asked me to go, suggested it because it was in his building, and then I didn't know if he was actually paying her or if he had some type of other agreement with her because...
You mean in terms of maybe offsetting rent or something like that?
Maybe. I didn't know. Yeah, and I also
the
bought a
whole
lot...
issue of cost was of no
I
concern
never
to you.
discussed it. I never knew anything about
You
it.
were just taking advantage of the benefit. It didn't work out. Why didn't it work out?
You know, just life.
Life.
Something tells me there's more to the story. Mr. Byers, why didn't it work out?
Well, it was more than just life. You know, she cheated.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
So the issue that we're dealing with right now is you had some sessions. They have not been paid. And you're thinking Richie Rich will pay for them, Mr. Byers.
Well, he was the one who had the arrangement with her. So
What
I
was the
just
arrangement,
figured-
Ms. Pierce?
Yeah.
He paid for her classes up front each time for the session. First week of her starting.
Byers, you stopped paying for them when you found out that she was cheating on you.
Correct.
And why you weren't happy with him when you sponsored someone
I
else?
wasn't cheating. He was aware of it. I had another friend. We were dating and in a type of relationship, but we weren't living together. I wasn't married to him.
Did you know about this, or you just found out after?
But it wasn't a serious thing.
What type of work do you do?
I'm a flight attendant.
So you can afford to pay for these classes yourself.
Right.
Yes? Did you get the benefit of these classes?
Right.
When did you stop saying, I'm not going to pay for anything else?
Right after I found out she cheated on me.
All right. And did you keep going to the sessions?
I did for another month.
Did he
or
tell
two.
you we're done because you cheated on me?
Yes.
And after he said that, you kept going?
I kept going for the rest of my term.
Okay. And that's a balance that's currently on.
Right.
Got it. All right. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel will come down in favor of the plaintiff. You don't like that decision?
Well, if I had known that I had to pay for them from the beginning, I wouldn't have gone.
There's no such thing as a free Pilates session. You will pay here $1,125. That is the order. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay her $1,125.
You know, I'm really sad that it had to come down to this, but I'm happy with the judge's decision. And I hope she comes back to the Pilates studio.
I don't know if I'll go back to her studio. I'll see what my new boyfriend thinks.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.